Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. Got a good one for you this morning because even the employees were faked at this company. So can't wait to share this one with you. Please don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold. But let's get into this right away because this is awesome. Remember last month we talked about the company that was caught selling fake airline parts to different airlines, okay? Mainly on the Airbuses. And they were selling these fake airline parts that were not registered, and they could have caused serious damage. And they started to pull the parts and pull the planes out of service that had in fact had these bogus parts on them. Now, it gets better because the CEO of the company is a man named Ray Kwong, K-W-O-N-G. Now, here's the thing. Bloomberg starts doing a search on Mr. Kwong because Mr. Kwong has quite the storied reputation, and he worked at All Nippon Airlines, he looked at Mitsubishi Heavy Equipment, he worked for Nissan, okay? And just look at his LinkedIn profile. The guy's stellar. He's a huge industrial CEO that has done a lot of different things for a lot of different companies. Or maybe not. What's fascinating is that this guy doesn't exist, because what they did was they did a reverse image search. So you could take this guy's picture and basically put it through the internet, and they found out that he's the same guy that works for a textile company in Germany. He also works for a health clinic in Illinois. So the guy's image is fake, or they used his fake image. So it's looking like this guy just doesn't exist. Now, here's the worst part about this is that who's running the show on the fake airline business? Isn't that crazy to think about? It's nuts, guys, when you think about this. So the thing about this, and people say, how can you figure this out? There was kind of a disgusting dating site called Ashley Madison a couple years ago that they advertised, hey, life's too short, have an affair. And what they found out was all these single women that were on this site that were very attractive, they started doing reverse image search once this came up on the internet, and guess what? Half of them were fake. They kept finding that these women didn't exist. So, or one woman's picture would be used dozens and dozens of times. So, horrible, you know? It's funny, but it's horrible, okay? Well, Mr. Kwong, now with this reverse image search, you can find out who people are. And see, this is the best part, is that with social media, and everything from LinkedIn to, business websites, the AI will search this out for you and will determine who these people are. And Mr. Kwong does not exist. So they had a company that was selling fake airline parts, and from a guy who just got off an airplane, okay, not too long ago to come shoot this video, nothing would be more terrifying than that, than not believing in the parts for that. So share your thoughts on this, guys, because it is absolutely insane. Now, next thing, real quick, is we are seeing a tremendous amount of vacant real estate right now. And all we hear about time and again is that there are houses, there's just no inventory, Dan. That's why prices are so high. Well, wait a second. Great story out of Market Insider talking about how there are 5.5 million empty houses in the United States right now that are just vacant. Some are for sale, some are people's second homes, maybe, okay? But what you have is a tremendous amount of inventory out there that is also been built and being ready to be rented out. So no one really counts that. So we've seen this time and again, especially here in Southern California, when times get tough for real estate and they build a condo project. Oh, well, it didn't sell, so let's go rent these things out. So they reverse course and rent these things out. But I have to share some of these, these numbers with you because they're just absolutely staggering. And LendingTree did a survey and found out that, across the vacancy of these large metropolitan cities, they have about 7% of the houses that are vacant, and you have They're accounting for 5,475,000 houses. The largest area, the number one city, which this kind of surprised me, was New Orleans. Miami, Tampa, and had the biggest number. 13.88% of the houses in those cities are vacant. That's crazy. The lowest one was, Tampa had 12.65, and they just had, for those three cities alone, there were more than 600,000 empty houses. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Three cities with the lowest vacancy rate, you got Minneapolis, you've got Austin, Texas, and Washington, D.C. that only have 4.5% down to 4.98%. But what you're seeing is more and more of these houses that are just sitting there, that they're not counting. And, you can believe the job numbers all you want that they dished out yesterday and talking about how great everything is. Who believes that? Who believes that? Because traveling to Dallas and talking to, everybody from people that work at the hotels, concierge, to restaurants, to entertainers, to service people, everybody, they've all talked about how challenging everything is and how hours are being cut back. When things are good, you just pray that they stay that way for a while. So these job numbers, are a mirage as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Think about this stat, because this is staggering. Last month, in August, central banks purchased 77 tons of gold to add to their arsenal. 77 tons. Over the course of the last 3 months, central banks have purchased 219 tons of gold. Why? They must know something. Do yourself a favor. Look at getting gold into your retirement. Contact Patriot Gold today, 888-330-1431. Get a free investor guide. Find out if an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals is the way to go for you and your family. But look at what people are doing. Look at what banks are doing. Look at what rich people are doing. And they are getting themselves into metals right now. With the instability of everything that's happening in the marketplace, you have to protect yourself right now before gold goes up. So they know something. Why would you add 77 tons of gold to central banks in August? Protect yourself. Contact Patriot Gold today. Use the link below or call them today at 888-330-1431. Let them know that Dan from iAllegedly sent you. It's funny, retail crime is happening everywhere, but one of the greatest articles that was sent to me this week was from the UK, talking about how they're fed up with crime there. So what they're suggesting, read the article below because it's awesome, is, hey, if you see somebody shoplifting, arrest them yourself. Take matters into your own hands and arrest these people. Wow, okay, it's a far cry from what they're talking about here. But I think people are pretty much fed up with this right now. And, one thing that goes to this retail crime thing also is a lot of crime is committed with the self-checkout lanes, and people are fed up with that. People are fed up with being arrested when they didn't steal anything. People are, fed up with buying something, walking out, and still having to show your receipt for things. But I'm telling you, if you ever go to a store and you purchase anything and they have somebody standing there, look, 5 items, check it out, point it out, because there's cameras everywhere now. But it's crazy to sit there because so many people, get arrested 2 and 3 months later for purchases when they say, oh yeah, you had a TV in there too. And it's happening. A lot of articles, I've covered this for months, but a lot of companies are unhappy with the self-checkout because they have to have employees there to make it, they have to do the count, make sure you don't steal, make sure you don't, buy one thing and then throw 4 things in your bag. So that's been a problem. But in the UK, they want you to take matters into your own hands and arrest these people. So again, guys, film it this way, not like this, film it this way so I can share it if you ever do that, okay? hello@iallegedly.com. Okay. Next thing is Formula One. Formula One is huge outside the United States. The big switch And the big event that's coming in November is going to be the Formula One race in Las Vegas. And they have spent so much money to get ready for this thing. And a lot of people don't think it's going to be ready. You're starting to see discount prices on hotels. You're starting to see discount prices for tickets. And, you know, CNBC did a story on this about how don't be concerned about this because you have a lot of sponsors like Citibank that put a bunch of money into this thing, and they're saying that they're going to get their money out of it. But how about this one? On Apple devices, Apple made an offer to follow Formula One. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. On your Apple devices, they bid $2 billion to have Formula One races on Apple devices. You know, isn't that crazy? It's a lot of money, guys. So, do you guys watch Formula One? It's wild. My daughter and her friends, they live this. They know every driver, everything. It's such a big deal. I couldn't name one guy, couldn't name a race team to save my life. So, share your thoughts on this stuff. I want to expand a little bit in the job numbers from yesterday because, guys, here's the thing. I have clients. I have a tremendous amount of friends that are in various different, you know, manufacturing, service industries, agencies, things like that that I've asked. And I made a dozen phone calls yesterday after these job numbers came out and said, hey, are you guys hiring more people right now? Every single person told me that they were not, and that they're cutting back and they're trying to trim costs any way they can. But again, everything's great. So if you don't think that interest rates are not going to go up, you're kidding yourself. Right now, you've got mortgages for the average person well above 7.5%, and they're only going to go higher, which leads to the greatest story ever from Airbnb. And you know what that is? What is one of the #1 searches when it comes to Airbnb right now on Google? How do I sell my Airbnb? How about that? And that has skyrocketed. The story is below on that one too, because people got themselves into the Airbnbs. Think about this. I met a guy, and it was funny. It was at coffee one day. Oh, you have 19 Airbnbs. Really? God, you own 19 pieces of property? No, I don't own any of them. I just rent them out, you know, in Anaheim, and he does it around Disneyland and Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, and he has Airbnbs there. I wonder how that guy's doing right now, if he still has all those units or if he ever purchased anything. Insanity, because people cannot get out of this fast enough, and all the regulations are changing. But what's happening right now is that when you travel, like when you go to Dallas and you start asking people questions, they know that people are spending less money. Are people spending less money when they go out? Yes. They drink a lot of waters at the table. No desserts, no extras. Lunch, what are your lunch specials right now? That's what people are pitching and moving forward. Crime is such a problem that I love this, okay? Portland just issued a story saying, listen, don't call 911 unless it's life or death. Don't call for regular police activity. That's where I want to live. That should be their slogan for tourism. We don't care if you're safe. My daughter just went to Baltimore, and I just told this story half a dozen times in the last day, and that she went to an event called VidCon, and she was a featured creator there. It was very nice, and but it was incredibly unsafe. And she couldn't go around walking around. They couldn't see the city. Oh, you can't go to a baseball game. No way, even the stadium's across the street. No, it's unsafe. So, a couple things. There was a shooting outside the event. Okay, crazy. Also, there was one of the speakers there, and it's funny now, it wasn't funny at the time. Speaker goes out, hey, my car got stolen. And he reported it to the event. He goes, who do I talk to? And they go, again? We had another car stolen? So, to give you an idea how great Baltimore is, so, more car theft. So, people are not safe right now. San Francisco, Starbucks is closing 7 more stores in San Francisco, but swears it's not because of the crime and because of the junkies and because of all the drugs. It's just logistics. Okay. Well, don't Starbucks make a ton of money? Rarely do you see a Starbucks go out of business, but they're closing 7 in the San Francisco area. But we don't want you just to pin this on crime every time we talk about this. Okay. Think of another excuse as to why you closed 7 stores in one of the worst crime-ridden cities in America. Tell me. Tell me. Because there is no excuse for that. And you guys all know this too. So share your thoughts on this. People need to protect themselves unlike any other time in history. But these are the good times right now. Remember that. These are the good times. Okay? This gets worse from here. So share your thoughts on that, because, from a guy that likes baseball, I've always wanted to, hey, wouldn't it be great to go to a playoff game and fly here and fly there? And people are like, you can't do this, it's too dangerous now. Isn't that crazy? What a loss of commerce by having things like that. So share your thoughts on this. It's a beautiful sunny morning out here. It's really nice. But let me know what you think about all this, because I think it's just getting worse right now. We haven't seen anything yet. You know what's funny? I would like this entire list of people, but there is something that they call the Investors Hall of Fame, and I'd like to know who's on that, because there's one man, there's a great story I found, Marco Kolanovic, who is from JP Morgan, who says, listen, we have seen a real instability. With these interest rates, with people shifting money and taking money out of their banks and putting them in money market funds, you could realistically also see the S&P 500 drop another 20%. And great article below about how he goes into this and where he comes up with this. But the high interest rates, the low demand, the problems that companies are having left and right are going to be an ongoing case that the stock market is going to drop. Now, found another great list from Retail Dive about all the retail bankruptcies that we've had in 2023, and they are staggering, guys. Absolutely huge. And you haven't seen anything yet, because this right now is the time that we gear up for the end of the year. And I spoke to, somebody who sells, retail products, and he said, Dan, the demand right now is off dramatically. Well, what is it, 10%, 20%? No, it's bigger than 20%, but you're seeing that people don't have the money, and when they buy things, they buy less. They buy 30 and 40% less than they would normally buy for things. And I'm not just talking about, holiday ornaments and things like that. I'm talking about electronics, components, different, present type items that people would normally buy at the end of the year. People are not spending the money on that right now. So you're going to see a big change when it comes to now and the end of the year, when it comes to people's purchases, what they're going to buy, and just the market in general. But these bankruptcies, they're up huge. We saw the first quarter of the year that they were up dramatically, highest rates that we've seen since the 90s, and it's coming back. So you're going to see more and more of this. So get ready. And again, if your company's in trouble, try to shore it up the best way you can right now. That's the best thing that you can do. I found a great list of what rents are around the country. And here in California, we pay about 43% higher for the same product that they have in different states. So example, 2-bedroom apartment, with living room, dining room, basically the same square footage. It's basically 43% higher. Single units with that are either studios and 1-bedroom units, same thing. But the chart is below, and it's fascinating on what people are paying for rent around the country. So it's definitely higher. It's starting to take a turn, but it hasn't dropped off yet. One thing that you're seeing also that's absolutely crazy is there are people out there that rent Airbnbs for an extended stay, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. They're not leaving, so they're having to kick these people out. There was a great story out of New York where the woman owes almost $50,000 to her host for the Airbnb, hasn't paid it, and is basically having to get evicted right now through the court system to get thrown out. But this spurred all these other stories. This is happening in Los Angeles. This is happening in Texas, in Austin. Right now there's people that are doing this, but this is the problem, is that these people, you know, I'm not leaving. I mean, again, that's where Large Lewis comes in my opinion, and he has a conversation with somebody, but I guess that's not legal to do it that way. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys, because, you know, one thing about a hotel room, like if you go to a hotel room and you're like, I'm just going to stay, they just disable the key. So you walk out of that room and you're done. You're finished. Why couldn't you do that with an Airbnb? Or do the people just never leave? Is that what the scam is that these people just never walk out the door and find themselves staying there for months and months on end? So let me know. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. First one is Scandinavian Airlines. They're in bankruptcy right now, and it looks like they may go out of business if they cannot restructure their debts and everything right now. And no surprise to me personally, but you're going to see more and more airlines that are going to go out of business. Now, on my last trip, I had to fly 2 separate airlines, and I won't slam one of them, but I had to fly back on American Airlines. Man, oh man, it is not the same experience anymore flying on these airlines. You know, no video monitors, you know, no way of, you know, watching, you know, TV, using your device. Our internet's really spotty on this flight. I don't know what the problem is. So we don't have internet, you know, so I guess I just sit here. Is that it? Yeah, you know what? I've got a cookie for you. I remember you would fly to Dallas and they'd have a full-blown meal. You know, you'd get fed too much food back in the 80s. Okay, that's how old I am. Scientists have developed a blood test that can determine 50 types of cancer even before symptoms show up, before tumors show up, and it is a precursor test for cancer. Would you take this test? If you could determine, hey, I could develop one of these 50 different types of cancers, or maybe multiple types of cancer, would you take that test? Because I know a lot of people wouldn't want to know what their fate is going to be early, but I thought that was fascinating. So read the story below because it's good. And the final story is Reese Witherspoon, you know, darling of Hollywood. They raised an absolute mountain of money for her entertainment companies. Hello Sunshine and Moonbug Entertainment. Okay, absolute, just a ton of money. Blackstone put a bunch of money in, and they have lost, you know, scads of money, about half the value. They put up $300 million for one, and or excuse me, $900 million for one, and $3 billion for another one, and they say they've lost half their value right now because it's not working out with their Disney properties. Isn't that interesting? Huh, imagine that. So, you know, Reese isn't just, you know, the pot of gold that they thought she was going to be, which I find absolutely fascinating because, you know, it's like, what is she making? What are they doing right now? You know, podcasting, TV shows. The one brilliant thing that I heard that she did was she has a book club, and they read the books and they scour the books, and if they like your book, they'll give you a potential TV or movie deal, which that's great because they get the pick of the litter of the good stuff. So anyways, they're losing money hand over fist over there with Reese Witherspoon. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Want to send me anything? Hello at iAllegedly. And onward and upward, guys. I'll see you guys very soon.